Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Nintendo Famicom. Last episode, our party, Fess, Booker, and Maxine, had recruited Josef to their cause, and they ended up picking up his snow sled from the Semite Falls mines. Now they're going to have to use that sled to get across the snow plains to get to the snow cavern where the goddess bell is located. They need that goddess bell to open Kashuan Keep. That's where the Sunflame is held. And Sunflame is what they're going to need to destroy the Dreadnaught, which has destroyed several towns, Palamecia and attacked Altair. Didn't destroy all of Altair, but it did injure a lot of people and drive most of the citizens into the rebel hideout. So, first wanted to get that life spell for Fess. He's not really going to be using it, but it's just like a safety precaution in case anybody gets knocked out. The higher level the life spell is, the more hit points it will restore to a character when it's cast on them. The life spell can also be used against undead enemies like zombies, and that could be a potential one-hit KO on them, but it's usually just better just to, you know, whack them with your sword or hit them with the fire magic, because the life spell has a chance to miss, especially if your character is wielding, you know, a sword and a shield. They take a massive penalty to their accuracy with their spells, so... But, yeah, it's mainly just a safety precaution. We won't really have to be leveling it up, so... But until we can afford those Phoenix Downs, which are 5,000 gil, this is just, like I said, a safety precaution. So, we might actually want to get that life spell and the teleport spell on Booker. You know, it's just a second, you know, safety thing, so... But first we want to get, one end up getting the lit spell, which is pretty cheap now, for Maxine, and then we also want to get the Asuna spell, so we can start working on that with Fess to cure status ailments, because eventually we're going to stop running into monsters. They're going to be casting, you know, status effects. We saw that with the Ogre Mages. They were able to blind us, and that's a permanent status effect. So we need Asuna to remove it, so then we don't have to keep buying eye drops and stuff like that. You can access your inventory in this game. You don't have an item well, you have an item command, but the only items you can access are ones that you have equipped on your body. I was gonna say on your part. So like Maxine has that ether equipped on herself. So if I don't have like a eye drop or like an antidote equipped on a character, well then they're out of luck. They're just gonna have to go through the battle with that status ailment, and then remember, if you have a status ailment, a permanent status ailment on you, you won't get stats for that battle, so... And I looked and it didn't even give, like, stats for, like, Maxine when she was trying to raise her fire level, or blizzard level. So, speaking of blizzard, we will not be casting that very often in this area here. A lot of enemies, including these icicles, if you cast blizzard on them, it actually heals them. So, this is where we'll be getting a lot of use out of our fire spell, which is good that it's at a low level, because it's not going to cost us much to cast, only 2 magic points, and because so many enemies are going to be weak to fire, it doesn't matter that it's at a low level. Still should be able to one-shot enemies when targeting them, and if it's like a large group, and you multi-target, still should be able to take them down to a point where Fess, Booker, and even Josef might be able to take them out. So, Josef has a good weapon, the Mithril Bow, but he just only has 1 rank in it, so he's not getting multiple hits like how Fess and Booker have rank 3 in their swords, so they can hit 3 times. Unfortunately, Josef won't be gaining too much experience with the bow, because most of the enemies here will be rank 1, with a few rank 2 enemies. And there's a few rank 3s, but most of the time they will be coming in with lower ranked enemies. And remember what I said, if you have, you know, a rank 2 and a rank 1 monster, it's going to be considered a rank 1 encounter. So, yeah, it always goes by the lowest ranked monster in the encounter, so... And it's kind of bad, like, if you had, you know, 7 rank 7 monsters and 1 rank 1 monster. Doesn't matter. It's just a rank 1 encounter, so. But it's not good. But, alright. So here's a cave. We're gonna make a quick save outside here. It's a good thing I did because, the first time I went through here, I had a little mess up with my capture card, so, yeah, sometimes it just acts up and I don't know what happens. So, had to reset and come back in here and start off, but, so, alright, we got a few new enemies here. We got, these ghouls and the deadheads. So, undead enemies, they will be weak to, fire. So, Maxine should be tearing through their ranks pretty good. The problem with the ghouls is that they can paralyze you, so lock you down. So luckily, paralysis is a temporary effect, but unfortunately, sometimes you get like in a lockdown status, where like if you find a whole bunch of ghouls. One will hit you, and then another one will hit you, and then they just keep hitting you, and before you know it, you know, you're locked down. So, got a rank 2 enemy there, the grenade. Like the balloons, if you hit them and you don't defeat them in one turn, they will explode and deal massive damage to you. So, we want to take them out with either a fire or a lightning spell, but since we don't have lightning, well, we're just gonna have to rely on our fire. So, seems like that's pretty nice. That it seems like most of those balloon-type enemies, they tend to have 2 weaknesses. Like the balloons that we ran into in the semi-falls mines, they were weak to fire and ice. Now these guys are weak to fire and lightning. So, it's nice if they just, you know, get multiple options to take them out, so. But, alright. Let's go around gathering our treasure chests here. So, sadly, when we get down to the bottom there, we're going to notice a door. But unfortunately, we can't enter that door, which would be really nice because we'll find out later on that that door basically leads to the end of the dungeon. So they give you a nice way to exit this dungeon real quick, but not a way to miss out on all of the dungeons. So occasionally against like some undead, we can cast the blizzard spell. So hopefully you've been working on your blizzard spells, because we got the boss of this area is adamantite turtle. So he's like the next upgrade to those land turtles. The land turtles were level 3, the adamantite turtle is a level 5. He has a really good drop, the diamond shield. If you're lucky to get that, you pretty much got it made. So it's one of the best shields in the game. It'll really help with your evasion, especially earlier in the game. So yeah, the sooner you can get your evasion up, the more time obviously you have to work on it. So those gains like it's like compound interest. They compound over time. So you want to get your evasion up as high as you could, early as you could. So getting that nice drop, diamond shield. In the next dungeon, those adamantite actually become common enemies. So it's potentially a place to farm for diamond shields. So, another intellect for Maxine, that'll be good. So, what's she looking at there? 29, so, not gonna do too much. We need to get the 32. Remember, multiples of 4 give you the magic multiplier. So there's the door. We'll notice when we get to the end of the dungeon, that door will take us back. But you can't enter it from the other side. I guess it's locked on the other side, so. Oh well. But it's nice they give us that, because getting out of the dungeon quick. There's a scene that happens at the end of this dungeon. I'm not going to spoil it. That prevents you from using the warp and the teleport. Because if you were able to warp and teleport out of this dungeon, you would skip this scene. It's kind of an important cutscene. So yeah, warp and teleport are disabled for this dungeon. So it's nice that, like I said, they give us a quick way out. But now we're just gonna have to trek around. So second basement, we're gonna be coming back to this basement. You see those treasure chests there over the left? We gotta go down to the third basement and then climb back up. So yeah, we gotta do a little bit of a roundabout way to get the treasure, but we want to get all the treasure in here because a lot of good stuff. That treasure chest that we passed up there that we'll end up getting, it's an Arctic Wind, which casts Blizzard 16, which is really good if you don't have anyone who worked on their ice spell. It would be good for the boss. Unfortunately, though, when you use an item, items automatically function as if they're doing a multi-target. So it's like Blizzard 16, but it's cut in by 1/4 power. So it's basically like casting Blizzard 4. So it's gonna be in this chest here. I misspoke. I thought it was one we passed up, but that's a different chest we passed up. So these guys are actually probably the hardest enemy in this dungeon. They hit really, really hard, and they don't have any elemental weaknesses. And they have pretty decent defense. So we're just going to want to concentrate our firepower on one of them. That was pretty nice though. Wow, I can't surprised that he did that much damage. So yeah, this is a time when we will be wanting to use our Blizzard spell. Because these guys are not immune to Blizzard, we won't heal them. But I'm surprised Booker did that much damage. So we end up wasting that Blizzard, but that's okay. So yeah, I said we want to concentrate our firepower just so that we can take them out, like try to get at least one per round. As you can see, they can hit pretty hard, so we'll give Fess a chance though to use up his cure spell. I'm not really concerned about leveling cure, because we can usually use cure outside. Cure is one of those spells you can use outside of battle and you get 2 points automatically. But we mainly still want to use it in battle though, at times, to try to raise Fess's spirit stat, which determines the effectiveness of his white magic spells, and also to cause him to lose MP so that he can potentially gain an MP bonus at the end of the battle. So, yeah, because he's gonna start after working on building up his MP. So, toward the end, it's not so bad for black mages, because they get a spell that allows them to drain MP off of enemies. I forget what it's called. Like in future games, it's like osmosis. But I forget what the name of it is in this thing. I don't think it's osmosis. But yeah, that's good. It basically guarantees that your black mage is never going to run out of magic. White mages don't really get that spell, and unfortunately that spell is only like a one and done. You can only find it once in one treasure chest. Now there is an enemy that can drop it, so that's one way you can get multiple copies of that spell. So if you do get lucky to get multiple copies of the spell, you could theoretically give a second one to your white mage. They won't be as effective as it with the as a black mage, because the black mage will be building up their intelligence through use of black magic. And it's a black magic spell, so, but still be able to get them, a few MPs here and there, so. Josef got a Jody. There's that Arctic Wind. You would just equip it like you would any other item, and you can use it in battle. Like I said, if you're not using black magic and you don't have Blizzard spell built up, it's a potential way to take on the boss here. So More icicles. I guess they're more like ice golems. I guess that little thing in the middle is like their head. They kind of look like little iceman. So, ice golems. Golems are all different types. From like D&D, I remember. Even in this game, there's like quite a few different types of golems. There's like the mithril golem, I think is the highest level golem. There's like wood golems. Maybe a stone golem. But I want to head up here. And, I make a little mistake. I get lost. There's 3 treasure chests here that we want to pick up. So. I inadvertently end up turning around, and I'm like, wait, he's coming here, so, yeah, sometimes I get distracted, because, a lot of times when I'm playing these games, you know, the dog wants something, or the rat, the Princess Guinevere wants something, so I gotta turn my attention to them, and, so, that's one of the good things, I guess, about, like, these, role-playing games. You don't necessarily have to give them your, you know, 100% undivided attention. Like, once you input what you want the characters to do, they can, you know, they take care of it on their own. So, it's not like, you know, an action game where you have to constantly be, like, watching the screen to dodge and, you know, make sure you're not getting hit by something, or, you know, I watched this one guy, Aquas, on, he does those, shoot-em-ups, shmups. Yeah, now I realize went the wrong way. Those games are hard, you know, because you're flying a spaceship. Usually it's a spaceship, doesn't have to be a spaceship, but probably like 99% of them are spaceships or planes, you know, dodging bullets and stuff. So, and I am trying to have my mouse, my computer mouse, be dodged, or dodge the teeth of Princess Guinevere, who keeps climbing up onto my computer and onto my desk, and she has a fascination now with the scrolling wheel on my mouse. So the rat is attacking a mouse. So there was a little chunk taken out of my scroll wheel, but it wasn't from her. It was from one of my other previous princesses. Yeah, the girls are always the bigger trouble, so they say that girl rats tend to be more active, and I've noticed that. I only had one lazy girl rat, Twilight, and I think she was more untrustworthy. She was never handled by people until I adopted her. Because why I adopted her? Because I was afraid they would probably euthanize her, because she just bit everybody. You know, nobody wanted her, so I took her, and she, like, you know, came out of her shell with me. It took a lot of work, quite a few bitten fingers, but, once she, like, got trustworthy with me, it was like she never wanted to leave me. She was just like, it was easy cleaning the cage, because, her cage, because, obviously, you know, you have to take the rats out of your cage, and I do it when I give them their playtime, so I would, put them out for playtime, and, you know, sometimes they'd be running around, and, you know, I'm watching so I don't step on them when they're moving their cage around, and, you know, but Twilight would just hang out near me and, just watch me. She'd sit on the edge of the bed and watch me, so she was a very interesting, rat. My favorite story with her, I'll give you a sec here. Princess Guinevere was causing some trouble there. I had to reach over and grab her. Now she'll just have to sit on my lap. You know, the alpha rats, like, pee on the beta rats to establish their dominance. And Twilight would sit on my lap, and I'd be laying on the bed or something, and she'd be sitting on me, and I'd be just petting her, giving her cuddles. And then she would climb off of me to pee, and then she'd climb back on me. And I'd be like, it'd be like I wish you would just pee on me, Twilight, because if you just peed on me, then I could just, you know, take off my shirt, you know, and throw it in the washer, you know, but when you climb off me and pee on the bed, then I have to strip off the sheets and the blanket and stuff like that. It's just a bigger mess. So, I learned my lesson, and whenever she was on the bed, I'd always just put a towel underneath me, so that, you know, if she did climb off like that, she would just go on the towel, and then I could, you know, throw the towel in the washer. But I always wondered if, like, the reason if she did that, if she, like, thought, like, oh my god, I can't pee on my dad, or else he'll think that, like, I'm the alpha, and he'll start expecting me to, like, bring him food, and, you know, she was content to be, the beta and rely totally on me. So, yeah, I don't know what was in her little ratty brain, but, yeah, she was a cutie, so. She was a half Rex. Rex is a gene in the rat that determines, like, hair. Like, double Rexes means they lose both their hair, all their hair, so you get the hairless. But, like, one Rex gene, they get, like, curly hair, and then they have, like, curly whiskers, too, sometimes. So, yeah, it's pretty cute, so. But, yeah, we got these grenades here. We'll try to take them out, like, one at a time. We don't want to have Maxine multi-target, because even though they are weak to fire, the fire may not be able to take them all out because it's such a low level. I think if it was at level 3, it might be able to multi-target and take them all out, but level 2 is chancing it. Even with Maxine's pretty high intelligence, don't want to risk it, so. Yeah, so say like 200 there, divide that by 4, you're looking at 50 hit points, and grenades have 60, so yeah, you'd be eating a whole bunch of counters, so. Better just take it slow and steady, because like I said, we don't want to lose any characters. Yeah, we do have that life spell with Fess, but what happens if they cast it on Fess? You know, knocked him out. Well, then we'd be, you know, up the ice cave without a paddle. So, but luckily this ice cave is not as bad as the ice cave in the first Final Fantasy. That one was terrible, because they had all those instant death monsters. Sorcerers with Death Touch, so they can just hit you once and knock you out. Mages with the Rub spell, the Eye at the end, the boss. The guard in the floater had multiple instant death spells, like Quadruple X, which is instant defeat on anything with less than 300 hit points at the time. So if your fighter had like 390 hit points, but they were at 299 because they've gotten to battle, Quadruple X would knock them out. The Rub spell, Mages had the Rub spell too, Cockatrices could turn you into stone. There was just so many things that would just take your characters out with just one hit. It was like, that's where you learn to hate status ailments. So I don't think I've ever had a character really knocked out from damage. Oh, it's been so long. Like I said, normally if I had a reset in Final Fantasy 1, it was because, you know, they got hit by an instant death spell. So, it was never usually damage that did it, so. With this game, I've noticed that, yeah, I've had more damage losses. Because sometimes a lot of enemies will get, like, critical hits. I don't know what it is, but you know, enemies seem to get more critical hits more frequently in this game than in Final Fantasy 1. And when they get them, it hurts. Especially because none of my characters are using armor, so they have no real defense. So not that, you know, critical wouldn't really matter because critical hits ignore defense, but I guess having no defense means that they're more easily put in range where a critical hit would take them out in one go. So, alright, I'm going to try to hopefully have Good job. Book will take out one of the grenades, and then Maxine will take out the other. Balloon's not worried about. They were from the last dungeon, and we definitely shown we were able to take them out. Pretty much any of our characters. There's green goblins in the back. William Dafoe's. Apparently, I heard he like kind of stole the show in the new Spider-Man. What's it called? The multiverse one, where they had all three of the old Spider-Mans. The first one, Tobey Maguire, and then Andrew Garfield, and then whoever the current Spider-Man is. Tom Holland, I think? I don't know. I haven't seen any of the new Spider-Mans. I haven't even seen any of the... I only seen the Tobey Maguire ones, honestly. But yeah, they brought all the three Spider-Mans together, and some of the old villains from you know, the multiverse. So there was like Green Goblin from the Tobey Maguire film, which was played by William Dafoe, and apparently he kind of stole the show. Whenever I think of him, I think of Sergeant Elias from Platoon. So that was a good movie. So, but my brother had a funny story about Platoon. He was in grade school, and you know, we had to do book reports in grade school. And one of his friends, Sam, had to do a book report, and he didn't have a book read, so he just he made up a book called Young Man in Vietnam, and he basically wrote it like as if it was like Platoon was the book, you know. So he made a fake book, you know. But basically, you know, if you think about it, you know, that's what Platoon was. Charlie Sheen was a young, you know, guy in Vietnam, and chronicled his little, you know, his enlistment there. So. Well, that's it for this episode. Come back in our next episode where we finish off this ice cave. Take care. Thanks for following along. Have a good day. Bye.